Yo, everybody. We're back. It's been a while. Like, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Uh, three maybe four. I can't remember exactly.
Okay. Well, uh, I guess we're here to talk real quick about MK versus DC, but, yeah, I've been playing the Legacy Collection and I've been enjoying it, even though, yeah, it definitely needs some work. And I have it on Switch too. I heard PS5 was kind of a mess when it came out.
Yeah, I have it on Steam. I think Steam gets the patches last, or at least there've been a couple patches that for the Steam version they held back until the big online update.
Yeah, I don't know when that's coming.
Hmm. They said within a few weeks of launch. I think the game's been out 2 weeks now.
Yeah, so
So
hopefully next week.
yeah, hopefully soon.
Anyway, well, we'll talk. I guess we're here to talk real quick about MK versus DC. Shad will not be joining us. I think he's done for now. He I remember when this game was announced, everybody was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, I remember being on the forums when the first teaser launched and it was like just Sub-Zero facing off against Batman. And there were there were two really primary camps people fell into. One camp was, what the fuck is this? Superheroes have nothing to do with Mortal Kombat and this is stupid.
Yeah,
And the other camp was also mad because it was a blatant ripoff of Marvel vs. Capcom's concept.
yeah.
It's like,
I
oh,
think
they just picked the other comic book company.
yeah.
you know.
Imagine if we lived in a world where we got DC versus Capcom and Mortal Kombat versus Marvel.
I wonder if that would have led to Midway being bought by Disney.
Disney probably wouldn't have wanted something like Mortal Kombat, though.
I don't think the timing would line up because Marvel wasn't owned by Disney yet,
No, it
maybe.
was still they were bought by them a year later.
Yeah, and Marvel, when it was still independent, would not have bought a video game developer.
Yeah. At this point, though, I would kind of prefer Marvel go back to being independent as well as Lucasfilm and Fox because Disney owns way too much now.
Well, I don't mind losing Fox. I don't know that they ever did anything good.
True, but still.
and at least this way, the Fantastic Four and X-Men are where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, but even so. But
uh,
so yeah, I think the general reaction was everybody was like, "Are you freaking serious? I thought we were getting the next Mortal Kombat, not this."
yeah, I mean, there were. I don't. I don't think it was that big a deal for them to make something non-canon after Armageddon because it did feel like there needed to be a gap while they figure out what the next thing is going to be.
Yeah. Well, I remember Ed Boon talked briefly about what MK8 was going to be,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
Ed was always throwing around ideas like, I want as much newness as possible. Maybe we'll make a game where Scorpion and Sub-Zero are the only characters that return. A lot of people believed that.
yeah.
And
Well,
I never did. I always knew that if they actually sat down and started talking about it, they'd gradually be like, okay, well, we can't not have Raiden. We can't not have Johnny Cage. Gradually, it would become the same as every other fucking game. They will never make something where Scorpion and Sub-Zero are the only returning characters.
yeah. Well, yeah. I was watching the documentary like that was on the Legacy Collection, and I'm like, Ed's kind of had that attitude about newness from the very beginning.
Yeah, it was just sort of the applications of it were healthier before the NRS era, I think.
Yeah.
It mostly referred to gameplay, and he let Tobias, tell the story that he wanted to tell.
Yeah. Ed took care of the programming.
Yeah.
There was that little bit that kind of hit me where it's like how well they worked together, and it was like, yeah, that's kind of sad now.
Yeah, yeah.
And well, I think the biggest problem I have with it was like speaking of Tobias, he actually did something for this.
Yeah, Ed gave him a phone call and said, "Hey, we want to do a comic book for this game. Do you want to illustrate it? Because, I know you like the DC heroes and you can draw."
Yeah, and it was
Which,
like,
yeah, I mean, the thing of it is, they talked about this a little bit on the documentaries stuff in the collection, that there was a brief period after Tobias left Midway where they kind of didn't talk just because they were off in separate places doing their own thing, but there was never any hard feelings. They remained friends.
yeah. Hmm.
I wonder how long the didn't talk period lasted. Like, was calling him up, "Hey, do you want to do this DC comic?" I wonder if that was what sort of reopened the lines of communication, or if they had already reestablished the friendship before that.
I think in the making of MK versus DC footage, Ed says that he and John occasionally had lunch every now and then,
Yeah, yeah.
which is nice. It's like it's glad I am glad this isn't a Bob Kane Bill Finger situation where Bob Kane basically screwed Bill Finger out of everything.
Well, the thing about Kane and Finger is that Bob Kane was an asshole the entire time, and they were never friends, I don't think.
Oh yeah, well Bob Kane took credit for things that he didn't even do.
Yes, that was Bob Kane's big deal, is that anybody who worked under him, he would like take credit for their work like he did it.
Yeah, like draw a fist. It's like, oh, people are like, oh, Bob, you actually did a really good job. It's like, oh, actually, he didn't do it.
I mean, all of that is documented thoroughly in various places.
Bill, Batman, and Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Bill Finger died in poverty.
Yeah, he gets the credit now, but it's a little too late. I remember there is, so the Kevin Smith, his YouTube show Fat Man on Batman used to be an interview podcast when
Yeah,
it first started. And he had interviewed, I think it was Denny O'Neil.
yeah,
And Denny talked about being one of the leading guys who started fighting for creators' rights and, getting people's names credited correctly on stuff and getting them proper royalties for things when they created characters and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
All the the fighting that he had to go through for all of that he would, represent other people. And he had offered Bill Finger to look, I could get you, proper credit on this Batman stuff. It doesn't have to be all Bill. And Finger was, I guess, not interested in fighting for it, and that's kind of what the problem was. So that's why it didn't really move forward until after he died.
oh yeah, he died in the 70s, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but anyway, the let's just say a lot of people were questioning. It's like, well, how could Scorpion or Sub Zero beat Superman? And fortunately, MK has a little explanation for that. That Superman is weak to magic, and Mortal Kombat's all about magic.
Yeah. I mean, that is an established thing from the comics. People always talk about those two weaknesses are that, kryptonite, and then that magic affects him the way it would any other human being. His, super durability doesn't help him against it.
Magic.
Which isn't quite how it's like if Scorpion throws a kick at you, his leg is not made of magic. Is it
Yeah.
like additional magical damage on the end of his foot?
Well, or that well, no, they just had to say that the mergers were fluxing the energies, and that's why
Yeah,
sometimes.
that was a big weird about the rage in MK versus DC, is that it would somehow pull power away from one guy and make another guy stronger from time
Yeah,
to time, and it would back and forth.
Yeah, like Shang Tsung is like, oh, I was weak when we first fought, and then now I'm revitalized.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Because there's also like, so MK versus DC has the two story modes,
yeah,
like
this
two
is actually the
halves of a
first time
story
they
mode.
did this. This is the
Yeah,
first time they.
you can either play as the MK characters or you could play as the DC
And I
characters.
want to point out there's a bit of a unevenness because the MK chapter only has 7 chapters, while the DC chapter has 8.
Yes, and it was supposed to be even. Kitana was supposed to have one, but for some reason they cut it. I
Yeah,
think they ran out of time. Midway was dying, and the resources
yeah.
weren't there.
You can see it like on the billboard of the making of. They have Katana's name after Scorpion.
Yeah, yeah. So the thing about the two sides of the story is that they're both canon and they're sort of like happening at the same time. So while a character might be fighting one guy in the Mortal Kombat story, and you're like, "Hey, where's Superman right now?" Well, if you play the DC side, it will tell you what Superman was doing, and he wasn't there.
Yeah,
I I don't know if it lines up super well because I remember when Shad and I were playing it for the channel, we had some questions about how certain events fit together because specifically there's like one bit where when the merger first happens, the Lin Kuei Temple appears in like across the street practically from the Fortress of Solitude, as they're both in the North Pole.
yeah,
Which isn't quite right because they used the 3D era Lin Kuei Temple, but in the story it's basically MK2 Sub-Zero. So
yeah.
so the
Well,
temple should be in China, not the North Pole.
well. Also, here's the other weird thing. It apparently takes place after MK3 or some version of it.
Yeah, some version of MK3 where the cyber ninjas haven't happened yet, and Kano was not working for Shao Kahn and is still on Earthrealm. There's a weird mix and match where characters have been taken from either MK1, MK2, or MK3, whichever version of their backstory the developers felt was the most iconic and easy for the audience to understand. They just mixed and matched. It's like a movie adaptation more than anything trying to fit in a canon.
Okay.
Like Scorpion is directly working for Quan Chi, and he would be doing that in MK9, but he never did an MK1 through 3. That's an MK4 thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like what I was saying is that so when the merger first starts, Sub-Zero apparently ran into and fought Superman. And so for the first few chapters, all the DC characters are like, Superman's missing. What happened to him? So they go to check out the Fortress of Solitude and find him stuck in a block of ice.
Yeah.
But Sub-Zero is like a very early chapter, and the first time he shows up, he's like, I think he's trying to track down Scorpion in Gotham City.
Yeah.
So it does raise the question.
He fights Liu Kang, I think.
Right.
That's the first fight of the MK story mode, Liu Kang versus Sub-Zero.
Yeah, they're like, were they in the graveyard?
Yeah, they were in the graveyard.
Yeah, and then Liu Kang gets Okay, hold on. So Sub-Zero was in the graveyard. Scorpion was also in the graveyard. Scorpion got switched for Flash.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because after this, this and the Flash basically disappears for the rest of the story mode.
Yeah, he just kind of fucks off. But the thing I was saying is that Sub-Zero appears so early in the story and so far from the North Pole. It's like, how did he fight Superman and get here?
Yeah. Well, also, I think what we'll talk about is the chapter order they did because we discussed this on Discord that they couldn't decide which character was each other's counterpart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is that this is one of the problems with the idea of crossing over Mortal Kombat with a superhero universe, is that Mortal Kombat is sort of like it's a universe where characters have superpowers, but that doesn't make them superheroes. It's more like an urban fantasy series like the Dresden Files or something like that. There's not like an easy comparison to make between which character, like The closest thing the DC universe has to a character like Scorpion is the Spectre, but the
Yeah.
Spectre is a cosmic entity at the highest tiers of power, and a fight between them would not be a fight, it would be over instantly.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing I would say. If this was Mortal Kombat versus Marvel, his counterpart would easily be Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that is a little easier to match up, but like it's either good if you're doing DC, it's either going to be the Spectre or maybe Etrigan is a close fit. Neither
Yeah.
of those characters is A-list enough to have made it to the roster of this game.
Just like how Jax's counterpart would really be Cyborg, but he wasn't super big at the time.
Yeah, there are no Teen Titans in the whole game.
Actually, speaking of which, in Tobias's comic, you can actually see there's a panel of like Johnny Cage, Robin, and Goro, and I forget who else. Like
It was Aquaman. It was Johnny Cage, Goro, Robin, and Aquaman. You see them disappear because of Dark Khan's energies making people disappear as a plot point in the comic book.
If Midway hadn't gone bankrupt, there would have been DLC. I think somebody found a model for Harley, actually.
Yeah, so they've talked about this. The developers basically gave away that if there had been DLC, the first characters would have been Quan Chi, Harley Quinn, Kung Lao,
and Doomsday.
I think Doomsday was a rumor. I think they said it might have been Aquaman.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah.
Because a lot of like the reason Doomsday and Lobo are both in Injustice 1 is because fans kept asking for them to be in versus DC Universe. And when it comes to Injustice getting characters on the roster, NRS is always one game late.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. One thing that's weird about Quan Chi is that he's in his Deadly Alliance attire, and that's something that unfortunately stuck.
Yeah, I mean the costumes are also very mix and match, or a lot of characters are wearing something new, but like Sub-Zero, for instance, his new outfit looks a lot like the Deadly Alliance outfit. Like he has the blue scar, which implies that he got the scar and then got older.
Yeah.
Except that, again, story-wise, this is MK2 Sub-Zero. He's still working for the Lin Kuei, and the cybers haven't happened yet.
Yeah. And, well...
But yeah, the roster is so small. They're like, the only people who were ever going to be in it were the Justice League, like the big... Not even the Big Seven, because there's no room for Martian Manhunter. But
yeah,
like...
and obviously the big iconic villains like Joker and Lex Luthor.
Yeah, it's basically the big five and then the biggest villains. Yes, that's what you had room for.
And with Mortal Kombat, they had to pick between MK1 and 2 characters.
Yeah, it's basically the movie roster, but Baraka instead of Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
Because I guess they wanted one Outworld monster guy in there. They felt that was a needed slot.
I think they realized they needed another villain.
Yeah.
And Shao Kahn and Darkseid are each other's counterparts, but...
Yes.
Because they're basically the biggest threats in each universe.
Yeah, but they are more or less the same character. That's an easy match where it actually makes sense to pair them off. Like, because the thing is, the game keeps like, okay, like, who is Liu Kang's counterpart? Is he the biggest hero and therefore his counterpart is Sub-Zero? Is he the young hero who has a
Superman,
old
not Sub-Zero?
Superman, yes. Is Liu Kang's archetype more like that he's a young hero with an old man mentor, and Shazam is his counterpart?
Well, he was Captain Marvel then.
yeah, but like, so they go, well, Raiden's going to fight Captain Marvel because they both have lightning powers.
But at the
end, Raiden's going to fight Superman because they're both the strongest guy. So Liu Kang's match is neither. Liu Kang's match is sometimes Flash, maybe?
Yeah. I think... he'd also fights Batman, I think, in Batman's chapter.
Yeah, well, Batman fights... I mean, they seem to want you to think that Batman's parallel in the other universe is Sub-Zero, I think.
Well, yeah. And
the other thing is, like, there's an... Kano... Excuse me. Kano is one who has an obvious parallel in Deathstroke. They're both one-eyed criminal mercenaries.
Yeah.
But then you get to, like, Kano's arcade ending, and it, like, matches him up to the Joker for no reason.
Yeah. one of the weirdest endings I think ever in this
And like,
series.
there is no Joker parallel. The closest thing to the Joker that Mortal Kombat has is Havoc, I guess. And
And
Havoc's not.
wasn't going to be. And he
Yeah,
wasn't going to
no,
be in this.
no. And there's no parallel to Green Lantern. Although I guess if you just go, well, he's in the Air Force and
Yeah,
Sonya's in the Army, and they both have a lot of willpower.
yeah.
But I don't think Sonya and Hal ever fight each other in story mode. The parallel's only drawn in the arcade endings.
Yeah, well, I think
She gets a Green Lantern ring.
With Katana and Wonder Woman, that one was obvious.
Yeah, Katana and Wonder Woman's a fairly easy one. Shang Tsung doesn't really have a parallel. If they had maybe put Felix Faust in the game, but that wasn't going to happen. Too obscure.
Or Black Adam. I guess Black Adam would fit.
I don't know about Black Adam because I guess like the closest parallel to Shang Tsung is you're looking for an evil wizard who sold his soul to a higher power. So someone who works for an even greater evil, and I think the closest thing to that is probably Felix Faust.
Yeah, but he's not big enough.
No. Because the other thing is, like, Black Adam is just Shazam, but evil. Like, that's a common thing in superhero stories, is to have villains who are the exact same as the hero, but bad guys. Like, they have the same powers and the same origin story, and they wear similar costumes, but with different color schemes. Superman has Bizarro, or Zod,
Yeah.
even. Spider-Man has Venom. Green Lantern has Sinestro. Iron Man has a bunch of evil Iron Men, like Ironmonger or Titanium Man or Crimson Dynamo. Like, almost all of Iron Man's villains are suit of armor guys, just like him.
Yeah. Well, actually, I want to talk about. I think Scorpion's ending. I don't know what it refers to. It feels like this is supposed to be Ghost Rider because.
Scorpion's ending just feels like somebody drew a shot of him sitting in a chair looking evil, and they thought it was cool, and that's all they had to go on.
Yeah, but they say if he survived the encounter.
I don't know. That's just mysterious wording to make it sound spooky. They do that kind of thing in endings all the time.
Sub-Zero's ending, it's like they didn't put much effort. They just gave him a cape.
Yeah, he has an MK logo on his chest too.
Yeah, I think it's Taven narrating the endings.
It's definitely Taven's voice actor. I don't think it's supposed to be like a specific character, like an in-universe guy.
But we think it's Taven because it's basically his voice actor.
Yes, it's definitely his VA.
I forget who played him in Armageddon.
It's definitely a guy who did other voices in the 3D era. I can't remember his name. But yeah, he was still there in the building. They were still able to, hey, we need you to come in and do some voices.
Yeah. And
although the interesting thing about that is that Versus DC is the first game where they would finally hire outside talent, like actual professional voice actors.
Yeah, Patrick State's got his.
Yeah, this is the first time Seitz played Scorpion. The first time Richard Epcar played Raiden.
Much to my dismay.
Like a lot of the voices in Versus DC would be reused in 9.
Yeah. Also, Richard Epcar's Joker. I think this might be the only time I've tolerated it.
I've said before that I kind of like Richard Epcar's Joker. I think it's the only role I know of that Richard Epcar plays that I like, because I kind of hate his regular speaking voice.
Yeah.
He's always so bland and boring. So yeah, it's nice to have him playing something that forces him to emote a personality.
Yeah. That's basically this, since he basically played Raiden from this to MK11, Raiden's whole personality basically became Richard Epcar's voice.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Also, Raiden's kind of an asshole in this game.
Raiden's kind of an asshole every time Epcar voices him. That's one of the problems. Everybody's an asshole in this game in particular, though, because they were... this game's biggest problem storytelling-wise is that if any of the characters ever have a normal conversation, the whole plot will stop.
Yeah, so that's
Because the
why
whole
they
thing
have.
is that they need to be constantly having misunderstandings where each side thinks the other side are the bad guys in
Yeah,
order to get them to fight. And whenever they're on the verge of figuring something out, the rage will infect them and stop them from not fighting.
yeah, the rage.
Yeah. Captain Marvel's dialogue in the story mode is almost entirely just shouting the words "the rage."
Yeah, it's like I think he even sums up. It's like just creates this terrible fury. You just want to hit something. And yeah, I think the part where Captain Marvel goes to like talk about Shazam. Although I guess we should we really go? I guess we're kind of just going talking about whatever we want.
Yeah, I
We're not.
mean, do you want to analyze it chapter by chapter, because I don't necessarily remember what order the chapters were in.
Okay, I could pull that up real quick. I think we'll start with MK versus DC for MK side first.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, chapter 1 for MK is Liu Kang.
Yeah.
I think personally that they should have swapped Liu Kang and Raiden's chapters, but that's just me.
Well, because the point of Raiden's chapter is that he's starting to figure out the plot. So if you have it come first, then there are less chapters where the characters are like trying to unravel a mystery of like where did because the way things start out is that they don't even realize the worlds are merging right away. At first, they just notice people are starting to disappear. Because Kitana comes to visit Liu Kang, and I guess she's been, it's like after MK3 sorta, and she's not even restoring Edenia. She's just trying to unite the Edenians who are living in Outworld.
Yeah. And this is the first time we had Tom Choi as Liu Kang.
Yeah, and he played him again in 9 and X.
Yeah. I always associate him with asshole Liu Kang because that's kind of how Liu was written to be while he was playing him. So.
Well, in 9 and X, because they wanted to, turn Liu and Raiden against each other. But in this game, Liu Kang's traditional nice guy Liu.
Yeah.
And I kind of like some of the things they do, like versus DC. That introductory scene where Liu Kang is like meditating at the Wuxi Academy and Kitana arrives to talk to him is the first time they ever like mentioned the word chi in the MK universe.
Yeah.
Which is kind of an important thing because it's how all of their special moves work.
Yeah. Oh, before I think we should mention this story was entirely written by John Vogel. I think he wrote everything.
Actually, it was co-written by I think Jimmy Palmiotti,
Yeah,
the DC writer.
He was just there to make sure Batman said things Batman would say.
Yeah, he was appointed by DC to make sure that their characters sounded in character and that they got them right. But I do think that means that he co-wrote somewhat, that he got involved in the dialogue side.
Yeah. So, Liu Kang's chapter sets everything up, and it's like he fights he fights Sub-Zero, Scorpion, then Flash, and then
and the reason he fights Sub-Zero is, he's trying to investigate people have gone missing from the Shaolin Temple, people have gone missing from Kitana's Edenian Resistance. People have gone missing from the Lin Kuei, so Sub-Zero is looking for them.
Even though he's supposed to be with Frozen Superman right now.
Yeah. Like I said, the timing is weird on that stuff. But somehow he got from I don't even know where the graveyard is.
Yeah.
It might be in New York where the rest of MK3 took place. It might be out at the random ass countryside. But he got from the North Pole to there real quick somehow.
Yeah. And then, they have this like, okay, we're not on each other. We're not against each other. And then Scorpion shows up, didn't go through that MK2. This isn't the same Sub-Zero who killed me, but
yeah, he's trying to kill Kuai Liang because it's always Scorpion versus Sub-Zero.
Yeah. And then this is when Flash and Scorpion get switched, and that's when
The rage just randomly swaps people.
and then Flash and Lou thinks Flash is just Shang Tsung.
Yeah. He assumes, oh, a shapeshifter. Okay, well I know a shapeshifter. He's my enemy. I'm gonna beat you up.
Yeah, and then he takes after he beats Flash. This is the Flash has the first chapter in the DC story mode. Because
Yeah.
after this, he basically doesn't show up again until the last chapter of the DC story mode, I think.
Well, what happened? So Liu Kang takes the Flash back to the Wuxi Academy to like figure out who he is, and this is like I talked about them mentioning Chi for the first time, and Liu Kang having the ability to sense it. He tries to like figure out who Flash is by feeling out his Chi, and he can feel that there's something wrong in it because of the rage infecting him. And so Liu Kang, like it passes from the Flash to Liu Kang, but that also causes Liu Kang to get to re-swap with Scorpion. Meanwhile, on the other side, Scorpion, he arrived in the DC universe. Batman found him, knocked him out, took him back to the Batcave to analyze him.
Yeah.
And then so Scorpion has been fighting Batman, and then he gets re-swapped with the Flash. So now Flash and Batman are reunited.
We'll probably get into that either this or next time, but there's that really mimetic scene where Scorpion and Batman are in the Batmobile.
Yeah, it's just Scorpion passed out in the passenger seat of the Batmobile.
Yeah. He does. Lou fights Shang Tsung, and it's like, okay, we need another fight for Lou. So there you go.
Yeah. Shang just kind of randomly shows up at the Wuxi Academy because he felt like, I guess, killing some monks today.
Yeah.
And so Lou whips his ass.
Yeah. Anyway, so after that, Lou swaps with Lou disappears, and chapter 2 is Sonya, and her first fight is with Catwoman, who I don't think she really has much of a connection with.
No, they just like Catwoman was this starts back in the Flash's side of the DC chapter. Catwoman was trying to steal a gem, and Kano was trying to steal the same gem.
Yeah. Oh, I find that funny because that scene where like Catwoman's like she just goes for the portal. It's like you had plenty of time to stop running.
Yeah, it's weird. She just keeps running straight into it. So she ran through a portal and ended up in the Special Forces base randomly.
Yeah,
it's not the portal she comes out of isn't even their techno portal. It's just somewhere else in the building.
Yeah, I love that animation though because it's like it looks like she had plenty of time to stop running, but just doesn't for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They could have just said that she was like sucked into it or something, but I guess they didn't have the money to have that kind of animation. But anyway, back to Sonya. So then she fights Baraka. I can't remember why she fights Baraka.
I can't remember why Baraka shows up either.
Well, that probably sums up Baraka. He's just kind of here.
Baraka does nothing really this whole game. Like there's one point in time where he's sort of following around Quan Chi and Shang Tsung and taking orders, and that's kind of the only time he makes sense.
Yeah.
But otherwise, he's totally filler in this game, and I would have put somebody else on the roster instead of him.
Yeah. Like Melina.
I would have gone with Johnny. I would have completed the movie roster if we're talking about because when the game was coming out, they kept talking about how they chose the roster based on who's most iconic. And I won't deny that Baraka has a lot of fans and is from all the way back at MK2, but come on, Johnny Cage is way more famous than Baraka is.
Yeah. Okay, so after she fights Baraka, then she fights Captain Marvel and Green Lantern. So she does fight Green Lantern.
Yes. Yeah. It's a brief fight. Like I believe she's at like Raiden's Sky Temple trying to get a meeting with him, and instead she runs into like
Shazam, as he's called now.
Yeah.
His temple kind of
the Rock of Eternity, which is Captain Marvel's secret hideout, kind of appears right next to Raiden's temple.
Yeah. And then Green Lantern, I think, shows up to help Captain Marvel.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think at that point, that's when Jax shows up and we start playing as him because Sonya gets hit by the rage and Jax has to calm her down.
Yeah, Jax has to like fight her to get her to stop, and then they both figure out that like the quote unquote bad guys are coming from a satellite up in space.
And that's when Raiden appears with Liu Kang.
Yeah, the weirdest there's the weirdest fucking thing in this game is that I don't think they ever use the phrase Justice League, and I don't think they ever call the space station the Watchtower. They just call it like the United Nations satellite or something. Like who at DC or Warner Brothers told them they're not allowed to use terms from the DC universe to describe the DC heroes? It always bothered me. It doesn't make any goddamn sense that they never just say the Watchtower.
Yeah. I don't know. And then, let's see. So then then Jax fights Lex Luthor at the Special Forces base because he's trying to get in. No, here's what they call it. They don't call it the Watchtower. They call it the UN Space Station.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm like, okay. So, Special Forces base, he fights Lex Luthor because I guess Lex is the closest thing Jax has to a counterpart in this game.
Yeah, because they're both old technology guys. It's a very loose fit. Again, these characters don't actually have logical parallels. There is no Lex Luthor in the Mortal Kombat universe.
Yeah.
But, like, they just sort of excused it as Lex, as the worlds are merging, LexCorp's technology detected the techno portal the Special Forces use. So he went to the base to see if he could steal it or buy it off them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The Special Forces is the U.S. Army, and the DC universe also has a U.S. Army. And Lex should know that you need, like, clearance to visit a U.S. Army base and all that. You can't just walk in because you're wearing a suit of armor.
Yeah. So then Jax has two fights on the UN space station against Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman, and this is where she has Sub-Zero from the DC side, which we'll get into later.
Yeah, she has captured Sub-Zero, which happened off screen, I think.
No, it actually happens in her chapter of the DC story mode.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, Jax fights. Actually, they do one little gameplay integration here. Like, Jax tries to use his gun, and she deflects them, and he actually can't use the gun for that fight.
Yeah, she blocks the bullets with her bracelets, and then she taunts him. Real warriors don't use guns, so Jax tosses the Uzi away, and you don't have the gun move in the next fight.
Yeah,
I kind of liked that. I thought that was a neat little bit of storytelling where you actually have the gameplay support the storytelling, and I would like to see that kind of thing, that creativity happen more often in these NRS story modes, and it doesn't really.
Yeah. And so
I mean, they did a thing, 11 has you play as Raiden without his powers because he hasn't got them yet because it's an origin story.
Yeah,
I would argue that's a little different because it's the entire move set instead of one move is a little limiting and boring.
Also Kung Lao didn't have his hat throwing because he didn't invent that yet in MK12.
Yeah. I think it was a little too much in 12 where they were sort of forcing you to not have powers because they're doing origin stories. And my question is, why can't I play as Kenshi after he gets the sword? Because isn't Ed Boon's whole thing that story modes are a tutorial and it's the first place that new players will learn the characters? Who's gonna learn Kenshi without all his moves? Why is that useful?
Yeah. And well, this is where Jax lets Sub-Zero go because they're like, well, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. So Sub-Zero never worked with them in this version of MK3, I guess.
Or their alliance if there was any while they were fighting Shao Kahn, was more of like I don't trust you, but I can tell we're on the same side for now kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because again, this Sub-Zero is still a member of the Lin Kuei, so he's still a paid assassin. But that's what his status was during MK2, and they were willing to fight on the same side in the Mortal Kombat 2 tournament.
Yeah. So Sub-Zero fights Raiden, who is kind of a judgmental asshole, because I think Raiden even says, "Betray my trust at your own peril."
Oh yeah, Raiden really doesn't trust Sub-Zero, and I think maybe he's thinking of his brother.
Oh yeah, because mythology still happened apparently here.
Yeah. The Lin Kuei has tried to steal stuff from me before, so I'm watching your ass.
Well, one thing that's kind of weird in this game is that before every fight, like a character will just randomly go fight, and I'm like, okay, you don't need to
Yeah,
say that.
sometimes the dialogue at the beginning of the NRS story modes, and this was the first one, but they all do this. The transition from a cutscene into a fight always starts with a single line of dialogue as the camera pulls back into the fighting game position.
Yeah.
In versus DC, sometimes that single line of dialogue is just somebody saying the word fight. Like, it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they
So
ran out of ideas and they didn't know what to say, so they just defaulted to, all right, fight me, bro. Come at me.
yeah. Then he fights Deathstroke in Gotham City, and then he fights Batman in the Batcave, because I guess they had to have a Sub-Zero versus Batman fight in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And then he fights Scorpion in the Netherrealm, where apparently Scorpion hasn't figured out it was really Quan Chi who killed his family and clan. Obviously,
Yeah, no, he's still basically MK1 Scorpion, but he's more like MK4 Scorpion. It's weird.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is like Sub-Zero, I guess, is trying to track down Scorpion. And there's a funny scene in Gotham City streets before he fights Deathstroke, where he like leans down and like kind of feels the air, and he's like, I can sense the nether. Scorpion came this way.
Yeah,
What
it's
is that? Like, what is nether? They've never mentioned that before. I guess it's the energy from hell. It's like the undead version of chi. I don't know. But he can sense it. That's how he tracks a Scorpion, and that's how he ends up finding the Batcave and fighting Batman.
Yeah, because Scorpion was there.
Yeah, but
And then basically Sub-Zero fights Scorpion, and they're about to get ready to keep fighting, but Quan Chi used.
It's funny because so Sub-Zero was in the Batcave, and the way he finds Scorpion is that a portal opens to the Netherrealm, and Scorpion spears him in. Get over here, and he finds him, and it's like, I was looking for you, you were looking for me. Let's do it.
Yeah, and then Quan Chi sets. It's funny, like Quan Chi after he gets free, he's like, okay. Tell your precious Thunder God that if he wants to save Earthrealm, he'll have to align himself with devils. I was like, why is Quan Chi being the source of reason here compared to the good guys?
Quan Chi is like the only character in the game who's not affected by the rage.
Yeah, I think they gave a reason for that or something.
I don't think they did. I think they just wanted Quan Chi to be the smartest guy in the room every time.
Well, and they took that overboard the next game.
Yeah. This was. There's a lot about versus DC that is a storytelling prelude to how fucking bad the writing in 9 would be, and how they would like twist the characters from what they were like in it 1 through 3, and how they would push Quan Chi to the moon.
Yeah, and also this is where Raiden started to get his characterization from MK9.
Yeah.
Probably not a coincidence because it's Richard Epcar. First time Richard Epcar played him. And well, so basically after that, like it's Scorpion's chapter. He fights Joker, and Joker, and like I find it funny. Like Joker's like he just says something funny or whatever, and Scorpion starts walking away. Like, okay, I don't care about you. And then Joker antagonizes him, and Scorpion's like, "You'll pay for that. with your life, but then after he beats him, he just doesn't kill him for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Scorpion's chapter, after Joker, he fights Wonder Woman, then he fights Superman, and then he fights a Katana who was apparently way too close to Dark Cobb, which is why she's like consumed by rage.
Yeah, like, I don't know what her chapter would have been, because presumably it would have taken us to Outworld to see it merging with Apocalypse, but what characters could she have fought?
Yeah. I mean, I think she would have fought Wonder Woman, because I think in Wonder Woman's chapter she fights Katana. I think we would have seen that fight from Katana's perspective.
Maybe, but I don't think they ever like repeat a fight from both perspectives. I think it's always different fights.
Yeah. But yeah,
It's just sort of weird because like every character in the story mode, even Baraka, is not in Outworld while Outworld is merging with
I
Apocalypse.
don't
So
think
when
we
they
have a single Outworld stage, actually.
No, we only have the half Outworld, half Apocalypse stage that's at the end of the game, which has pieces of the Wasteland and the Combat Tomb in it, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And then, well, apparently, like there's a little bit of a leftover of Katana's chapter, because when you go to Shang Tsung's chapter here, like Lu's talking to Katana on his like wrist communicator, and I think that's a little leftover of it.
Yeah, this game it gave them the like Defenders of the Realm magic communicators so everybody can talk to each other from a distance. I've always thought that was kind of a silly thing to have in the
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat universe, because I
Yeah.
feel like, if Sonya and Jax have radios, that's one thing.
Well,
But pulling out a magic medallion that lets you talk to Raiden is stupid, because Raiden
yeah.
can teleport anywhere in the world
Yeah,
instantly and
could
just
have
speak
bought
to you
that
face to face.
Yeah, I could have bought that maybe Sonya and Jax made communicators for all of them so they could keep in touch or something. That would make sense.
Right, but like Sub-Zero wouldn't have one. He's not on the team. Scorpion wouldn't have one. Kano and Shag wouldn't have them. Katana. So here's a weird thing that kind of bothers me, but is very like the story doesn't care. Is that in order for like radio technology to work, you have to have like satellites in orbit, right?
Yeah.
How does a radio work in Outworld? And like the movie at least acknowledged, when Sonya goes to Shang Tsung's island, her radio doesn't work and her compass doesn't point north because it's a magic pocket dimension in between two worlds. There's no way that your radio is going to be able to call back to the army base.
Yeah. I think part of the reason Katana's chapter got cut was because they had to create some stages that didn't make the cut. So
yeah, maybe Katana's chapter was planned when there was like other people on the roster or something, but even that I don't think, because the only people who were like almost on the roster that didn't make it are the DLC we talked about, none of whom are Outworld characters. Or there was concept art. If you look at some of the behind the scenes stuff, you can briefly see drawings for like Sector and Brainiac. Neither of those are Outworld characters either.
Yeah. And Shang Tsung's chapter kind of feels like filler for the most part, because it's just him and like Lu teaming up.
Yeah.
For some reason, when the Raiden teams up everybody, he decides to team everybody up with their enemies. So it's like, okay, that's a smart move.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Quan Chi kind of proves that he's for real because he cures Katana of her combat rage or something.
I want to give a shout out Shang Tsung's dialogue in his chapter. I could kill you now.
Yeah, I think he was.
So, kudos to the worst Shang Tsung voice actor of all time.
Yeah.
James Kyson.
I think he was on Heroes.
Yes, he is. In the old TV show Heroes, if you remember, there's an Asian guy who can like time travel and teleport, and he had a sidekick. Shang's voice actor was his sidekick, that actor.
Yeah. I think Heroes was airing at the time this game came out.
Yeah, it was. it was past season 1, the only good season.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but so basically, I think then Shang fights like or like Liu Kang's like, "I'll thank you for saving my life," and Shang Tsung's like, "Oh, save your pathetic graciousness. We're not for Dark Khan. I would kill you now."
Yeah, yeah. Except read it worse. Do it in a worse voice.
I was like, save your pathetic graciousness. If we're not for the traitor, if we're not for Dark Khan, I would kill you now. I don't know.
I would kill you now.
Yeah, I remember saying this at MK9. I was like, oh god, I really wish they got CHT to play Shang.
They almost did, actually. Boone has talked about that they wanted Carey for Shang in versus DC, and they didn't get him.
Yeah,
That would have probably helped the game a little bit. I think,
yeah. It didn't happen until MK11.
There's not a lot you can do to fix this game. The gameplay is okay-ish. It's a hybrid of the 3D era and what would eventually become the return to 2D in MK9.
Yeah.
I was just happy to have Sonya and Jax's classic movesets back because they suck so bad in Deadly Alliance.
Yeah, if we got Johnny Cage, he probably would have actually had his nut punch back.
Oh yeah, he would have played like Johnny Cage should play. Versus DC is the first time since MK3 or 4, and the last time that Sonya would actually have her bike kick.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense for her to have it when you play as her in MK9 because Liu Kang's supposed to teach her that move, but...
Yeah, but I mean, they sort of ignored that for a lot of things, like Kung Lao in his X-Rays has the whirlwind kick that he's not supposed to learn until Deadly Alliance, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sonya actually does have, in 9, she has the bike kick in her X-Ray instead of as a move, but that would be the last time we would see it.
Yeah. And so, after Shang Tsung's chapter, Katana opens the portal, they go to, what's the merger of Outworld and Apocalypse, and it's like... Yeah, they like Dark Khan shows up and gets them all angry, so they fight each other. And because Midway obviously didn't have the budget for a full scale fight, the big fight...
yeah, it becomes still images. It's like the most hype moment being built up, this like big battle scene between the two sides, everybody versus everybody, and they don't have the money, so it becomes a fucking slideshow, and it's such a wet fart of a moment. It takes all of the energy out of the story mode.
Yeah, it's like that's what I'll give MK11, that big moment where after Liu becomes like the god, fire god. It's like that big sequence is all they actually had the money to do that.
Well, it's like they had the money to do the opening of Armageddon.
Yeah.
That's a big fight scene where everybody runs at everybody.
And then let's see, Raiden's chapter. He fights. He's getting really hit bad with the rage because he almost kills Shang Tsung. He almost kills Liu Kang. Which I think
and Liu has to talk him down like Shang's not the enemy right now.
It's like they did this again in MK11.
Yes, they deliberately repeat some of this dialogue in 11 to establish how Raiden is starting to remember previous timelines.
Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah. At this point, this is meant to show Raiden's almost like too far gone, and Raiden realizes, oh man, I almost screwed up there.
Yeah, and this is where he decides, okay, I'm gonna go alone to fight Dark Khan, because if I bring anybody with me, Dark Khan might turn me against them.
Yeah, and then that's when he fights Superman, and that's when they realize, oh shit, we're on the same side.
Yeah, and then there's a mechanic here where both story modes end with your character fighting Dark Khan. You're either Raiden if you're playing the MK side, or Superman playing the DC side.
Like, it would have been nice if they let you get like press a button and like Raiden or Superman would like help you or something.
Yeah, because the story here is that Raiden and Superman are fighting Dark Khan together at the same time, but they don't have the ability to do like any kind of tag team or endurance mechanic. So if you're playing Raiden, you don't ever see Superman in the fight, and vice versa.
Yeah, and then, well, then you fight Dark Khan. I don't know if he really looks like a merger of Shao Kahn and Darkseid.
Yeah, he just looks like Blaze more or less. Like he's a generic rock man with spikes coming out of him, which I guess, Darkseid has rocky skin and Shao Kahn's armor has spikes. But that's such an uncreative way to imagine the two of them together. Like there are no clothes involved.
Yeah. And his explosion is basically the same as Onaga and Blade.
Oh, it's absolutely a reused animation from the end of Deception and Armageddon.
Yeah. But well, so MK side, it's like they're back in Outworld, and then but only Darkseid is in Shao Kahn's place for some reason.
Yeah. They when the merger ends, Darkseid and Shao Kahn have swapped places, and then their arcade ending is established. Well, the last scene of each kind of establishes, like, you get like a stinger of Darkseid chained up in the Netherrealm, which is like when the first time we see Quan Chi, he's in the exact same place. He's got, he's just chained to a pair of pillars in the middle of the stage.
Yeah.
And then vice versa, in the DC side, Shao Kahn has ended up in Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And the thing is, neither one's powers work anymore for some reason, so they're easily taken captive by the heroes. And so when we see what happens to Shao Kahn, we see the Donner movie version of the Phantom Zone, that flat 2D crystal plane flying through space with Shao Kahn like screaming, "Let me out!" inside of it.
It's a far cooler image than Darkseid just being chained up, though.
Yeah, like it's a cool image, but I've always been like, how does this version of the Phantom Zone work? Like, it's just randomly a flat crystal that flies through space, and you have to just wait for it to show up and hope it lands on your planet and takes somebody prisoner. Like, I think Jor-El had the ability to summon it in the movie, but why couldn't it just be a projector that shoots a ray at them and traps them in a pocket dimension? Why this weird flying window in space? I never understood that. I've always thought that was such a weird thing about those movies.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, then you get the arcade endings, and in Darkseid's arcade ending, Shang Tsung goes down to the Netherrealm to try and steal his soul, but Darkseid is somehow able to reverse the magic, turn Shang into an old man, and then be like, "Shang, you work for me now. Set me free." And
actually, it's a homage to the MK2 opening, basically.
Like, it's a recreation of the image of old Shang kneeling in front of Shao Kahn, begging, "Don't put me to death."
Yeah.
And then in the Shao Kahn arcade ending, he somehow being put into the Phantom Zone gives him his powers back, so he's able to smash his way out of the Phantom Zone and set free all of the Phantom Zone criminals like Zod and all these other obscure guys from Superman comics.
Yeah, but it's like,
and they become his army, and he leads them. And
it felt like it was a setup for a sequel that we never got.
Yeah, there's a lot of like continuity and sequel hooks in the arcade endings. Like Liu Kang and Flash's endings are connected. One of them establishes that even though the merger is over, Liu Kang and Flash have somehow retained a psychic connection to communicate with each other, because Liu Kang tried to attune to his chi during story mode. So now they can like psychically talk to each other, and that allows them to figure out that Lex Luthor and Quan Chi are planning to breach the universes and team up, and so they're able to stop that in one of the endings.
Yeah, well, that was Lex Luthor's ending that he teamed up.
Yeah. But like Lex Luthor's ending is about him opening a portal to let Quan Chi in, and then Flash's ending is about them knowing that's going to happen, so Flash zooms in and knocks them both out.
Yeah, and I guess we'll talk real quick about the DC side.
Yeah, they had well, just to go through all the endings. So Scorpion's is crap. It's just that the power of the rage, it seems to be setting up that he'll take Darkseid's throne or something.
Yeah, but it's ambiguous if this is what Scorpion wants, because it's like if he survives it.
Yeah, no, it's just like the rage is controlling him, and he wouldn't have his personality. He'd just be pure anger.
Yeah,
Sub-Zero's ending kind of makes sense because the idea is that like after all of this, he will leave the Lin Kuei, and they have him becoming like being inspired by Batman to become a crime-fighting vigilante. And then they tease that you can't just quit the Lin Kuei, so they're going to send people after him, which would have been Sector and Cyrax, probably.
yeah. And Liu Kang's ending, he basically becomes Captain Marvel.
Yes, Liu Kang, Raiden gets a bunch of gods together because he's like inspired by the powers of Shazam. He's like, okay, Liu Kang, when you say the phrase Mortal Kombat, you'll get all of our powers and transform into a more powerful warrior.
Yeah. Katana's ending is basically Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I actually really like this one, and I think it could be done in. I've said this many times across our channel. I think so. What happens in Katana's ending is that she leads the Denian refugees, which in
Yeah.
this game for some reason are depicted as all female, just to make her more like Wonder Woman, even though it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So she leads them all to basically leave Outworld and colonize Shang Tsung's island. And they rename it Argus Island, and it just becomes an Edenian colony. I really, really think that in the classic Mortal Kombat universe or universes, the storytelling has always had a problem of what to do with Edenia because it's maybe one realm too many, and it's sort of hard to have like the bad guys attack here and they attack there at the same time, and we don't have time to show both, and all these kinds of things. And it's almost become like a damsel in distress realm when it does exist. And in most of the new games, they try to have it not exist. Just, oh, everything happens in Earth, Outworld, or the Netherrealm, and that's it. Like, we don't get to see Sato anymore. We don't get to see Chaos Realm very often. We
Yeah.
almost never get to see Edenia because they just don't want to have that many realms be part of stories.
Yeah. It just kind of shrinks the universe.
And there's also a problem where as long as Liu Kang and Kitana live on separate realms, their romance can never be resolved. And so there's really two solutions. You could either have Liu Kang retire and move to Edenia, which they never want to do, or you could have Edenia go away and move the Edenians to Earthrealm. Have them actually colonize Shang's Island like they do in this ending, and then Kitana and Liu Kang could actually live on the same realm.
Yeah.
So I do think that one has like merit outside of the dumb crossover drawing parallels to Wonder Woman stuff that it's doing. Like if you ignored all that and just had the idea of something bad happens to Edenia and it can't be saved or it's, destroyed rather than merged with Outworld. If the Edenians move to Shang's Island and live there, then it would fix some narrative problems, I think.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? We can probably talk about the DC side next time. We'll just keep with the MK side for now.
Well, it's pretty quick, honestly. So Shang Tsung in his ending,
Yeah. He's got slave girls for some reason.
yeah, it's a very like Conan the Barbarian classic like Franzetta painting imagery. He's in the flesh pits, and I guess he has, he fought Captain Marvel once or twice in the story mode, and I guess that inspired him. So he's trying to create Tarkatans that have Shazam powers in the flesh pits. Like he somehow got some of Billy Batson's DNA from fighting him, I guess.
Okay.
So they show him like rising an electric Tarkatan out of like a witch's brew, like a cauldron.
Yeah.
And there's ladies in bikinis hanging off his leg.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it's giving me Epstein flashes, but I'm sure that wasn't intentional.
I don't think that's those women are clearly of age. Those are adults. Those are adult women.
I'm not saying it's kind of similar.
But Sonya's ending is that during the merger, a Green Lantern died. So when the merger is over, the Lantern Ring gets stuck in the MK universe searching for a new host, and it ends up on Sonya.
Yeah.
So she has a Green Lantern ring now, but she doesn't have a lantern, so she can't recharge it.
Yeah.
And I guess here's the thing: if there were to be an MK versus DC 2, could you actually imagine them giving Sonya Green Lantern moveset?
Probably not.
I don't think it would happen. I would love if it did. It would be so awesome if they actually had a continuity and followed these endings up, but they would never change the characters that much. They just wouldn't do it.
Yeah. And I think Jax's ending is like, I don't know, they did the whole Jax loses humanity ending twice here.
Yeah, so Jax's ending is that he got injured off screen somehow during the merger and has to get more cybernetics to save his life, which results in him basically becoming Cyborg from the Teen Titans.
Yeah. It's the second ending they did in a row of him losing his humanity or something.
Yeah, they do this again in 9, where they have him decide, I need more cybernetics, and then he ends up having like an online war between himself and Kano, because Kano also gets more cybernetics and tries to become Skynet.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird ending.
And so they're like hacking and counter hacking each other to get control of all the like missile satellites and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
In Raiden's ending is a pretty silly one. So for no good reason, when the merger ends, Raiden starts losing his powers, and he finds out that Earth's yellow sun is draining him because he has become the opposite of Superman for no reason. And so he goes to Quan Chi in the Netherrealm for the solution, because that's what Raiden does in the NRS writing style, I guess. He's just always like, I know who can help me, the most evil man in the universe.
Well, the thing was, in mythologies, don't they say that he can't go to the Netherrealm or something?
Yeah, but other games have violated that. And
Yeah.
you would think that as a god, he can go wherever he was. He chooses not to because it would weaken him, because it's outside his realm. He only had he has less powers in Outworld, so he would have less powers in the Netherrealm too.
Yeah, it's like
But so in this ending, he's like, I'm getting weaker. Who can help me? Quan Chi for some reason? And what?
Yeah.
So Quan Chi has an amulet made of kryptonite that will restore his powers, and the only he's like, I'll give it to you, but you have to serve me. And Raiden is okay with this first.
No, it just says he has to choose between serving Quan Chi or mortality.
Yeah, either become my servant or lose your powers and become mortal. But the picture is Raiden reaching for the medallion.
But
Okay.
anyway.
Kano's ending
Is stupid.
So Kano fought Joker during story mode and then got really, really tilted when Shang Tsung made fun of him for losing to a clown.
Yeah.
So when the merger ends, Kano becomes the Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, that had just come out that same year, I think.
Yeah, he's like obsessed with Joker and Shang Tsung. So he starts painting his face like the Joker and sets out to like kill Shang Tsung, like he's obsessed with it.
Death to Shang Tsung. Death to Shang Tsung. And it's like, oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a good one.
What was Baraka's ending?
So Baraka's ending is a weird one because it's a super obscure reference. So according to Baraka's ending, the Tarkatan race remains affected by the rage even after the merger ends. And so they all start painting like blood red spots on their faces and running around, quote unquote, dominating all life in the realms. And the reason you would never get this unless you were really, really versed in DC Comics, because this is a reference to an alien race in DC called the Dominators, who look like Baraka but have like Japanese flag tattoos on their faces, like red spots. And the Dominators are used so rarely. Like, who would remember this? Other than me, because I've read comics for 30 years and I'm, a nerd.
Yeah. Is that all the MK endings?
That's all of the MK endings.
Oh no, we did. Well, we kind of already covered Shao Kahn's ending, so
Yeah, we covered Shao Kahn.
okay.
So on the DC side, Batman's ending is that he basically just invents the OMAC project, which is that was happening in the comics at the time, the Brother Eye satellite and the OMAC robots. Only in this case, Batman is inventing them because he's afraid that there will be more invasions from other realms. And this ending, it ends with it saying OMAC has already discovered a breach in Metropolis. So I guess that's a reference to Lex Luthor and Quan Chi meeting up that happens in the other endings.
Yeah. Superman's ending, I'm trying to think. It's him trying to. I think Captain Marvel gives him like something that protects him from magic.
Yes, Superman's ending is that because he kept getting his ass kicked during this game because he's weak to magic, he asks Captain Marvel for help, and Captain Marvel gives him like a golden belt and bracelets that will make him resistant to magic, so that this won't be a problem ever again. Which no sequel's ever going to reference that. You're not going to make Superman so strong that, like, because the whole problem every time they do a fighting game with the DC universe is how do we make other characters able to hit Superman?
Well, in Injustice, they came up with everyone takes this kryptonite pill, this Kryptonian.
Yeah, they have like Kryptonian nanotechnology pills that every single character on the roster has taken, and now they're all as strong as a Kryptonian, and that's how they're able to fight each other.
Okay.
And it's so the ending where Superman becomes immune to the one thing evening the playing field to make a fighting game possible. That ending is not going to happen, I promise you.
Yeah, and then there's what was Wonder Woman's ending? I don't remember.
Wonder Woman's ending is that she finds a bunch of magical artifacts from the MK universe that have been left on their world after the merger. And it's Ashra's sword, Shinnok's amulet, and a shield shaped like the Deadly Alliance logo, which isn't even a real artifact in the MK universe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. She just finds a sword, shield, and medallion and becomes stronger. That's it. That's the whole ending.
Yeah. And Joker's ending is just a pretty typical Joker ending.
Joker's ending is that he, inspired by Shang Tsung, I guess, decides to take over Gotham and hold a fighting tournament.
Yeah. And Batman's just letting him do this for some reason.
Yeah, how does Batman let it get this far? Because the picture in this ending shows a Joker signal shining in the sky, and everything is graffitied, and Joker is sitting on a throne made of skulls.
Yeah. So Joker's ending might just be a what if.
Yeah. I like Catwoman's ending.
Becomes an actual Catwoman.
Yeah. After the merger ends, she finds that she has the ability to turn into a Black Panther, which is she has gained an animality. I wish they used the word animality.
Yeah. That actually reminds me of the Batman the Animated Series episode where she actually got turned into a Catwoman. That was probably one of the.
Oh yeah, it's not a great episode, but there is one. Yes, Selena gets like kidnapped by a guy who's obsessed with turning people into furries, including himself and her, and like I'm a Catman and now you're a Catwoman. Let's fall in love with each other. And Batman has to fucking cure her.
Yeah, but it's like that was definitely one of the weaker episodes of the
series.
Series.
It's not a good episode, but I just like it's sort of like how the Baraka ending references the Dominators, but doesn't say the word, like it says, oh, they dominate all life, and it's like, just say the word, man. Just say animality. Yeah. We all know that this game is trash, and that it's all these references are fucking goofy. Just pull an Annihilation and use the phrase she can feel her animality.
Yeah.
It would make people laugh, and that's the best you're gonna do with these stupid endings. So just do it.
Yeah, and Green Lantern's ending has the Armageddon pyramid show up.
Yeah, and him and the Sinestro Corps fight over the pyramid. I assume Blaze is at the top, otherwise what's the use? But they don't
Yeah.
even mention Blaze.
Yeah. And let's see. Flash's ending is just him punching Quan Chi in the face. We already kind
Yeah,
of talked about it.
Shazam Bill Captain Marvel's ending is that he somehow finds himself in the void with the Elder Gods and becomes the champion of the Elder Gods. And I like the imagery of this one because it shows the 3D era version of the Elder Gods where they're like dragons made of black and green smoke and energy. And I always really like seeing them in that form. You know, the dragon logo looks one-to-one what they look like because they're like these silhouette creatures.
Yeah.
I really like whenever you get to see the Elder Gods and that's what they look like. And then Deathstroke's ending is he decides to basically form start his own clan of assassins. And I guess, it's a reference to the Lin Kuei because they all dress identically to Deathstroke. All the ninjas dress the same, so he starts a clan of all Deathstrokes. But the Deathstrokes have superpowers? And where did you find these people?
Yeah. And yeah, we kind of covered Lex Luthor's ending, so
Yeah, and then
we covered
and
Darkseid's too.
yeah, we covered all of them. That's the whole roster.
Okay, so the DC story mode. You start with Flash, and this is he's just doing some cleanup because Superman just defeated Darkseid. Okay, we forgot to mention apparently at the beginning because Shao Kahn and Darkseid get defeated at the exact same time, and Raiden zapping.
Yes, the reason the merger happens is that by complete coincidence, Raiden zaps Shao Kahn as he's trying to escape through a portal at the same time that Superman heat visions Darkseid as he's trying to escape through a boob tube. And so it causes both of the portals to destabilize, causing Darkseid and Shao Kahn to merge with one another across the multiverse.
Yeah.
And because they have merged, now the MK universe and the DC universe are also merging.
Yeah. Flash's chapter is pretty typical of him fighting.
Well, I want to say something actually about the MK version of the opening scene where it's Raiden and Shao Kahn. So the idea is that some version of MK3 has happened, but it's like the MK Annihilation version because Quan Chi is there, and he talks about how Shao Kahn was trying to evade Earthrealm for Shinnok, and Shinnok will be displeased that he lost.
Yeah, and also I think what's funny is that when Quan Chi starts to leave, and then Shao Kahn's like, "Quan Chi, traitor!" And like Quan Chi just like turns around and lets Shao Kahn hit him with the hammer. Always fun.
Yeah, he gets rocked. But yeah, it's just so weird that there are so many references to MK Annihilation in versus DC Universe because it feels like somebody at NRS said, "Well, there are going to be DC fans playing this game, and it'll be the first MK game they've ever played. So how do we make it recognizable to them?" And for some reason, they thought more people would have seen the shitty second movie than have played the games.
Well, yeah, Raiden's bio mentions Shao Kahn as his brother.
Yeah, that's the only video game where they actually say that because it's not true in the other games. It's only ever been true in the second movie.
John Tobias actually was like, I was really pissed that they put that in MK versus DC. And he was like, was that you, John Vogel?
Yeah, whose fucking idea was it to reference goddamn Annihilation?
Yeah, that's the one thing I think John Tobias has been very vocal in what he hates. He does not like Shao Kahn and Raiden being brothers.
Yeah, because they're not.
Yeah. Anyway, so Flash's chapter. Anything else you want to say? Or
not really. I think we covered a lot about this chapter already. You get to see like Deathstroke, but it's because the game is not allowed to be M-rated. He cuts a guy's head off completely in silhouette. You never actually see it. And we also don't know who that guy was. It's just Deathstroke was collecting a bounty or some guy didn't pay his mob debts or whatever, so Deathstroke kills him. But it's very tame and off screen.
Yeah.
And then Flash shows up, and Flash is just like, "Hey, there's Deathstroke. He's a criminal, and he's just walking the streets, so I'm gonna get him."
Yeah. Then he fights Catwoman, and that's when that scene we talked about earlier happens, where she just does not stop running. It goes through a portal.
Yeah. Kano's
And-
there too.
And then
Kano drops a reference like when he sees the Flash dodging his eye laser.
yeah.
And by the way, this is the slowest super speed I've ever seen in my life, when Flash just like Kano shoots the laser, and Flash sidesteps with the jankiest animation. And Kano's like, "Huh, let me try again." And he does it like 4 times before giving up. This sequence goes on way too long. But then Kano is like, "Oh, you're as fast as Cabal." And then they fight each other. And it's like, what version of Cabal exists right now in the MK versus DC version of the universe? Tell me about this.
Yeah.
But no, they won't. That's all you get. So yeah, Flash and Kano fight, and Flash is like overcome with the rage and switches places with Scorpion here, I believe. And then Batman shows up and fights Scorpion, right?
Yeah, well, this is where Batman shows up, and this was a personal preference, but I really wish they got Kevin Conroy to voice Batman in this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. They got like professional voice actors, but most of the cast is still people you've never heard of before.
Yeah, the guy
Like I think the only person on the DC side who's really recognizable is Taliesin Jaffe plays the Flash, and he would come back to play the Flash in Injustice 2.
Yeah.
And then of course Epcar is Joker. Whoever's doing Catwoman is doing like the Adam West 1960s Catwoman, and it's not good.
Yeah, she's doing Eartha Kitt. Catwoman.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, I know. She's like, no one cages this kitty.
Yeah, she's like rolling her R's and calling things perfect and that kind of thing. Those old cliches.
Yeah, I think she's channeling Eartha Kitt.
Yeah, Catwoman has not talked like that since the 60s. We didn't need to bring that back. Especially because her visual design is the modern Catwoman with the goggles.
Yeah. And well, that was the problem with I think so next we have Batman's chapter. He fights Scorpion, he fights Joker, of course. That's where we get that scene where they're both in the Batcave, and it's like, and he fights Liu Kang, and curiously enough, John Tobias said this was a matchup that he was most looking forward to.
Batman versus Liu Kang?
Yeah, he said because they've both been wronged in some way.
I mean, Liu's backstory does involve all, his quote-unquote family, the Shaolin Temple, being murdered. That's the only thing they have in common, though.
I think might have been talking about murdered parents, though.
We don't know what happened to Liu's parents. He's never properly elaborated on that.
They have said, he just says they're deceased, so...
Yeah, he just, whatever happened to them, Liu was adopted by the Shaolin Temple. And then the Shaolin Temple died too, and in MK2, Liu struggled with, I guess, deciding whether or not to break his no-kill rule is a thing he and Batman also have common, that they're real strict about not killing people, and sometimes they're tempted, and it's like the one emotional struggle that they both have. I don't know. But they don't really have much in common. Like, Liu Kang is, the bright, sunny, upright hero, and Batman is the shadowy loner, dark vigilante. Yeah, they are very different characters.
Yeah. Anyway, so basically, then Batman takes Liu Kang to the not Watchtower, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know why they won't just call it the Watchtower. That's so weird to me.
And then Raiden shows up and he zaps Batman, but Batman gets back up and Raiden's like, wait, how are you standing up? And Batman just says, insulated armor. And I was like, that is a classic Batman moment right there.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like Raiden should probably be able to use more powerful lightning, but
Yeah.
maybe Raiden is getting weaker because the realms are merging.
or he was trying not to kill him.
Yeah, he's probably just tried not to kill him, but I don't know. I feel like so Raiden makes his entrance by shooting lightning in every direction inside an orbiting space station.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you not frying all the technology and causing this space station to fall out of orbit and just crash?
Yeah. And well, then after that we get Wonder Woman. That's when she fights Shang on Themyscira and Shang Tsung's island are merged. That's one thing we forgot to mention.
Yeah. There is like that's a recurring thing in this game is that they took a stage from the MK universe and a location from the DC universe, and they sort of half and half them with a glowing line down the middle, and that's how they represented mergers in this, which is very different from how mergers worked in, say, MK3, where it would be like just mix and match of all the geography. The split line down the middle, it reminds me of like a sitcom where two guys are arguing over sharing an apartment, and it's like you stay on your side and you stay on your.
Yeah. And well, Wonder Woman's chapter, she fights Katana in Metropolis, then she fights Sub-Zero. That's how she gets Superman out of the block of ice, and then she has to calm down Captain Marvel on the space station because her chapter kind of leads right into where Jax and Sonya are kind of invading it. So they're kind of happen. That's kind of happening at the same time as Jax.
Yeah.
And Green Lantern's chapter is interesting because everyone else gets 4 fights. He only gets 3.
Yeah, there's also weird stuff going on where apparently various characters can just instantly teleport to the planet Oa, which is many light years from her.
Well, no, he has a fight with Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor starts getting afflicted by the ring. He's like, "Oh, well, you should see what he does with that ring. So much, you lack imagination, Green Lantern. I should have that ring." And it's like, oh god, here we go.
Yeah, but I don't know. How did Lex like walked through the Special Forces portal to get to the planet Oa? I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not how Mortal Kombat portals work. You don't go to other planets, you go to other dimensions.
Yeah. And I think Green Lantern's chapter is mostly filler in my opinion.
Also, like, was that a random accident, or did Jax somehow have the coordinates for Oa?
Yeah. But okay. After that is Captain Marvel. After he fights Raiden, he basically just has a fights back to back with Scorpion, Baraka, and Shang Tsung, and it's like, okay, that's pretty much his entire chapter for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be surprised how little actually happens in this game.
Yeah. And then we have Joker's chapter where he starts getting really strong, and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, you're not supposed to be this good at fighting. What's going on here?"
Yeah, there's this weird point in the plot, like 2/3 of the way through, where all the good guys on the MK characters have gotten together, and all the DC characters got together, and they're both like, we're gonna go out in small teams and just skirmish each other and see what happens, and it doesn't make sense why they're doing this.
Oh yeah, Joker has a pretty funny
because it was Kano and Sonya. They just go to the graveyard and run into Deathstroke and Joker.
Yeah.
And then they fight each other.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Joker has a pretty legitimately funny Wrath of Khan reference.
Yeah, that was a cute line. It was, you would kind of expect someone to shout Khan eventually in this series.
Yeah, it's like it makes sense Joker would do it.
Yeah.
And then but Joker Joker tries to go fight Batman, and
yeah, he beats the shit out of both Sonya and Kano,
and then
he's like, and then Deathstroke, his own teammate, and he's like, haha, whatever's happening right now has made me super strong. Now's the best time to go kill Batman.
which is something he would do.
Yeah, yeah, but the rage runs out right when he's fighting Batman and he gets like knocked out. I think.
Yeah.
I think Batman like there's a funny recurring bit where whenever some Batman's fighting somebody with the rage and they kick his ass, he just gets back up and hits them with a taser and they knock right out.
Yeah. Then Lex Luthor's chapter, it's like Scorpion and Sub-Zero are teamed up. It's like, did they just pick each other's enemies to team up with for some reason?
Yeah, because why would Sony ever work with Kano?
Yeah.
So yeah, and they're going to these random places, and there's no really explained reason because Scorpion and Sub-Zero go to the Wuxi Academy, where Lex Luthor and Catwoman also go, and then those two pairings fight each other.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why.
And then he goes to the Special Forces base where Jax is. He beats him. Then Flash finally reappears after basically disappearing for most of the story.
Yeah. So the one thing where it finally makes sense why somebody is going somewhere doing something is that Lex goes and fights Jax in order to get access to the Special Forces portal. Because the Special Forces portal is how all of the DC characters get to Outworld Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all the MK characters get to Outworld Apocalypse because they all meet up at Raiden's Sky Temple and Raiden makes a portal.
Yeah.
And so that's how they end up all being in the merged Outworld Apocalypse and fighting each other in that big skirmish that is represented entirely by a slideshow that sucks.
Yeah. And it's so then we go to Superman's chapter. His chapter is basically the same as Raiden's, complete with fighting an enemy, then fighting his closest ally, then fighting.
Yeah. Fights Lex and Batman, and then decides, okay, well, I've got to face Darkon by myself because I don't want to turn on any more of my allies.
Yeah. And then he fights Raiden, and then Darkon, and we already kind of talked about how.
Yeah. It's the same thing that happens with Raiden, where it's the two of them fighting Darkon, but you will only see the character you're playing as. So it's like the cutscene says they're teamed up, but the gameplay does not represent that at all.
Yeah, probably because they didn't have they couldn't do a tag team, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, Darkon's ending is Shao Kahn is in Darkseid's place, and Phantom Zone, we kind of talked about that already.
Yeah. That's pretty much how it ends.
But I think what really sums this up is there's a lot of prototypical NetherRealm studio characterization in this game. Even though
This game is super similar in storytelling tropes to 9, and super different from the 3D era games in those same tropes. And it's like obviously a glimpse of how the studio was going to write these characters in the future. So we didn't know it at the time. We just thought that this game was being weird because it was a non-canon one-off. And then it turned out that all the weirdness in how the characters were being depicted was how they would be written in the future games.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
Yeah, Katana, I don't know, she's actually more the nice girl she usually is in this game.
I mean, the problem with how Katana is written in this story is that she has very little screen time, and she spends a lot of it under mind control.
Yeah, and apparently, that admittedly is because her chapter was cut, so that didn't.
Yeah, but Katana's the only character in the game who, when they're infected by the rage, the solution is have Quan Chi hypnotize them.
Yeah. I don't know, that was a thing with Katana.
It became a trend across the 3D era, and even into, I would say, X9 and X, the Revenant stuff.
Yeah.
Katana just becomes this damsel in distress who's constantly mind controlled by villains over and over and over again.
It was something Vogel liked to do with her, I guess.
It's uncomfortable.
I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't happen in Deadly Alliance. Katana's story in Deadly Alliance is really good, but in Deception it happens, in Shaolin Monks it happens.
I mean, in Deception, we've talked about it's mostly an off-screen thing, so it's not big.
Yeah, and it happens to other people. It's not just the girl that it happens to. It also happens to Johnny Cage, Jackson, Kung Lao.
And Sonya.
And, Sonya. But That's also the second time Sony has ever been taken captive in something.
Yeah. So I mean, that was just an off-screen thing to explain why those characters weren't.
Sure, it's excusable in Deception, but the fact that it also happens in Shaolin Monks and versus DC and the entire NRS era with the Revenant.
Yeah, I think
Is
that was the Shaolin Monks. I think there was like I don't know. I think that came about because the writer they basically said we want Catan to be a boss, but she's a good guy, so just come up with something.
it's just I maybe I don't know. I'm super uncomfortable with it because Katana is the if you look at what she's doing in MK2 and 3, she never doesn't have agency in the original games. Like she's never under any kind of spells or ever taken hostage. She's kind of taken hostage in MK4, but the solution to that is that Melina lets her out so they can fight each other. So it's still kind of not like she needs to be rescued by one of the good guys. She basically rescues herself because the bad guys, the circumstances are what they are.
Yeah, and
But Katana's always like Katana is the secondary protagonist of the Mortal Kombat universe. Like if Liu Kang is the main character, if Liu Kang is the main male character, Katana is the main female character, and she used to have like super control over her own destiny. Like when she was introduced in MK2, she already knew all the secrets about like Shao Kahn not being her father and what her true backstory is, and she was keeping it a secret and waiting for the right time to turn on him. So it was all like up to her.
Well, she was also kind of the link between Earth and Outworld in MK2, basically.
Yeah, she's also like she is the one who initiates contact between herself and the Earth Realmers. In MK2, she approaches them and feeds them intel, which is the opposite of how it happens in 9, where Raiden goes to her and tries to convince her to turn on Shao Kahn.
Yeah. But I guess we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here.
It's just I hate the way Katana is written these days, and versus DC was one of the first ones to do it that way.
Yeah, I think MK11 did fix her, at least,
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, Aftermath undoes all of that, but
Well, Aftermath undoes everyone's development, unfortunately.
yeah.
But at least in the case of Aftermath, like when everything's taken away from it, actually kept the focus on her where it belonged, and not on another character.
Sure.
But it's like but anyway, I think another angle I thought was interesting was Sonya and Jax have this dynamic, and it's like compared to Sonya, Jax comes off as more cool-headed and intelligent in this game.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, Sonya's always kind of the go-getter, in Defenders of the Realm.
I mean, she's like the hot-headed one, and Jax has to like be the voice of reason that reins in her like out of control temper.
Yeah.
But like that usually serves the character because her whole story is usually Kano has super pissed her off and she will stop at nothing to get Kano.
Yeah. It's just a little, but I don't know if there's any precursor to evil Superman in this. I don't think there was, but
no,
because in many ways this was kind of a precursor to the Injustice series as well.
I mean, this is a very traditional Superman. His outfit in the game is even specifically based on the Christopher Reeves costume, like the way they do the S logo on his chest and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. And
I wish this was the Superman we got in the other NRS games.
Oh yeah, this was kind of also the precursor of the Injustice series, I'd say.
In some ways, it's definitely what set up NRS as the guys who would make DC fighting games in the future.
For better or for worse. Yeah, I'll say this. If they announce Injustice 3 at the Game Awards next month, I'll probably just shrug and go about my day.
Yeah. I don't care. I think the Injustice series wore out its welcome at the end of 2, and I don't
Yeah.
think either of the two story mode endings really leave much room for an interesting sequel.
Yeah. I think also it's also like I've been saying, its whole premise is evil Superman. I think people are just done with that.
Like I'm really kind of hoping that uh, the change in management of all the DC stuff at Warner Brothers, the fact that James Gunn is overseeing even the video games now, I'm hoping that means that Gunn will have told them to make the third DC fighting game something else, a different universe with a different story.
Hmm. Who can say? I guess we'll
Yeah,
find out.
I
But
guess
then again, with
we'll
Warner
find out
Brothers,
soon. But I don't. I really didn't like Injustice 1 or 2. I can't really see myself buying 3. I sort of
yeah,
regret that I spent the money on 2.
yeah, yeah. Also, it's just like I think if they were going to make Injustice 3, I guess the time to have done it would have been after MK11, but they didn't. But they didn't do it because they might have got sold.
No,
And
well, they've talked about why that was. They started on Injustice 3, but they're making Injustice 3 in Unreal Engine 5, and because it's the first time they've ever made a game in Unreal 5, they're learning how Unreal 5 works, and they realize this game is going to take us 7 years to make, so we need to make something else while we're working on this so that we don't have that big of a time gap. And that's why MK12 exists. MK12 is literally shovelware to fill an empty slot in their schedule while they work on Injustice 3.
which is funny because you think it'd be the other way around.
I can see the company that has made 11 MK games already going, MK is the less interesting thing that we do, and that it's okay for that to be the shovelware.
Yeah, but uh, but then again, with Warner Brothers potentially getting sold again, who knows what if Injustice has a future or what the future of MK is.
Yeah, I think they will announce the game before we find out any sale or merger stuff, because
Yeah,
the
I don't know.
all that corporate stuff moves so slowly, and sometimes you hear a deal is going to happen, and then 1 week later you hear the deal's not going to happen, and now they're
So
shopping around.
who even knows if it's going to happen at this point? Because
Yeah,
they've been
yeah.
trying to do this for a
All we
while.
know is that Warner Brothers wants to sell themselves off to another studio, and that offers are being made. We don't know if it will ever actually close a deal.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting tired of all these murders, so
Yeah.
it's not good for anybody. It's not good for creativity. It's not good for the economy. It's not
Well, I
good.
will maintain that Fox merging with Disney was good for everybody, because fuck Fox.
Yeah.
Nothing they ever did was good.
Well, they did The Simpsons.
They own The Simpsons. They don't make The Simpsons. Matt Groening makes The Simpsons.
True. Well, Fox doesn't own anything good. I mean, also they kind of completely missed the point of X-Men when they were making.
Yeah. They basically never got X-Men right. They never got Fantastic Four right.
Yeah. Well, they got
What other
they got.
I think they own Alien and Predator, but the last time there's been a good Alien or Predator movie was the 1980s.
Well, actually, I heard the new Predator was actually.
Yeah, I
Pretty
know. I'm not into it. I'm not into it. There are 2 Predator movies, and that's all I care for. We'll say 3. I liked the one with Topher Grace in it.
okay. Yeah, I like the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the original.
Yeah. The original Predator 2 with Danny Glover. I like that one, and I like Predators, I believe it's called, with
Yeah.
Topher Grace and
They,
Adrian
they
Brody.
they also made Alien versus Predator, I believe.
Yeah, which is the first one is okay-ish, I guess, but I don't think it needed to exist. It's just kind of like a corporate cash-in kind of thing. It's very consumerist to make crossovers between 2 different franchises in the first place. I'm not really into, I don't think it serves anything creatively. I don't think they usually have good stories.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Fox News still exists, so
Yeah, that was separated from the rest of Fox and not sold off. It wanted to remain a thing.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately.
because if Fox News went away, the country would be a better place.
Yeah, I think certainly the existence of a conservative news network has had a deleterious effect on American culture for a very long time. But if you really trace all that stuff back to the beginning, I think it's really all Rush Limbaugh's fault. I think
Oh
he
yeah,
started all that.
the Simpsons even did an episode parodying him. I think.
Yeah, yeah, he was the first like conservative media guy who was really big and turned an entire political party into the conspiracy theory assholes.
Yep. It was slowly building up since then. We just didn't pay attention back then.
Yeah, yeah. Butterfly effects. If you could go back in time and
Yeah,
stop one guy.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing I like about the G.I. Joe comics. Cobra Commander's backstory is very relevant today.
Mm.
Because if you remember, he was a used car salesman.
Yeah, he was just a regular sleazy guy and somehow decided to start an international terrorist organization.
Well, he built a cult of similar-minded people around him. It's like
it started as like pyramid scheme, small town business stuff,
and then
it kind of became a cult, and then kind of became Hydra, more or less.
Yeah, it's like it was actually because it was much better than the origin they gave him in the cartoon show. I'll tell you that.
I don't know if they really fleshed out the cartoon version of the origin.
No, he was from Cobra La in the cartoon.
Oh yeah, the fucking.
Which is a contradiction because he's clearly human in the episodes before that.
Yeah. I was once a man. A man.
Yeah, that is a weird movie. I'll tell you that.
It is. It's super weird.
Because everyone, I think even back then, people were saying, "Yeah, this really doesn't fit G.I. Joe."
Yeah.
I think Larry Hama even said, "I will never do a Cobra Law story." Because G.I. Joe was relatively the most realistic 80s cartoon.
Yeah, it was, except for, some science fiction to it to make like laser beams.
But it was like the thing that it was like this could actually the closest that could actually happen in real life.
Sure.
And then the movie just made it pure science fiction.
I would go so far as to say, supernatural fantasy is where they take it when they start doing that stuff.
Curiously enough, I think they were supposed to kill Duke in that movie, but because
he appears to be killed off during the movie, but because the Transformers movie came out first and everybody had such a bad reaction to all the deaths in that, especially Optimus, they added a line of dialogue at the end of the movie of like, Duke's in the hospital, he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, actually, no, the funny thing was apparently their decision to kill Duke was why they decided to kill Optimus in the first place.
I feel like it was the other way around.
No, Buzz Dixon, who was the writer of G.I. Joe, he talked about this. He said, I felt like I wanted to give the movie a horror rating, so I said so I decided to kill Duke off, and I asked Hasbro for approval for this.
Right.
And they not only agreed to it, but they ordered the Transformers writers to do the same thing to Optimus Prime.
Right. So the G.I. Joe was going to kill him first, and then the Transformers movie got the idea from that, but the Transformers movie came out first. Yeah. And caused them to change the G.I. Joe movie to not do it.
and why they brought Optimus back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always wondered, like, if G.I. Joe had been as bloody as the Transformers movie with all the old season 1 and 2 Joes dying. Like, I guess they couldn't do that with humans like they could with robots, but yeah. Like I said, G.I. Joe the movie is kind of a weird movie.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, I think we've probably talked enough now.
Yeah, we've pretty thoroughly covered the game.
So, next, I guess we'll talk. I guess whenever I think of something, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I don't know when I'll be on next.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, but
I'm always up for this stuff.
Yeah, so whenever I think of something, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Good.
I'll see you next time then.
Yep, good talking to you guys. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you later, nerds.